beg that same old star. Same old thing I've been waiting on.
Okay, good morning once again. Relive po tayo ngayon because siguro sa may technical difficulties po tayo. I think na CPR ata yung song natin kanina. Yun ang isa sa mga disadvantages ng using Facebook page live kasi yung mga copyrighted materials ino-off agad-agad ni Facebook.
Oo nga.
And so i-repeat natin this is the first online Trinidad Cooperative Congress and we are having it here sa platform po ng Pansigedan Advocacy Cooperative, the first advocacy cooperative here in La Trinidad and in Benguet. Yeah. And I think second sila in the Cordillera region. Okay, kasi may isa sa Baguio City.
Okay.
Yun. And together with me is the general manager of the cooperative, the Pansigedan Advocacy Cooperative. We have Ma'am Rhea Lonso. Yan.
Ayan. And syempre ang ating kasama din dito ay Jay Nataraki nga ni Sir Orlando Pacquiao na ang ating co-op officer ng La Trinidad.
Yan, talaga kailangan nga maging taraki agarod. Ayan, so thank you so much for the office of the Municipal Mayor, Honorable Romeo K. Salda, for allowing the conduct of this activity pala, together with the members of the Sangguniang Bayan, headed by our Municipal Vice Mayor, Honorable Roderick C. Awingan. Yeah, maraming salamat kasi they approve also the conduct of this activity, first of its kind in La Trinidad, sa pagkandak ng ating Cooperative Congress. Alright, so sino mga visitors natin? May mga guests tayo ngayon, ano?
Yes, may mga guests tayo ngayon. So, syempre hindi mawawala ang ating cooperative director na si Ma'am Marietta Huang. And then we also have our speakers for today. Syempre, ang mag-present ng mga researches. So we have Sir David Joseph Pugnadon. Meron din tayo kay Sir Joe Pelchona at si Ma'am Cheryl Laonyo. And also, magbibigay din tayo ng mga intermissions. So, meron tayong mag-intermission like si Sir Attorney Franco Bawang Jr. With, of course, Sir Early Pacquiao.
Oo nga may intermission pala.
Sige lang. So, baka yun po siguro ang panoorin muna natin ngayon. Let's watch first the intermission by Attorney Franco G. Bawang Jr. and Mr. Orly Pacquiao.
We all set out to find true love, to meet someone special that is sent from above, to having to hold together growing old, to love for the rest of our lives. It's all part of a God's plan, my love. You are my woman, and I am your man. It's all part of a God's plan, my love. Joining our hearts till death do us part, living forever God's plan. I knew when I met you, you would be my wife. I felt like I've known you every day of my life. Your blue eyes so to my wandering soul. It guided me all the way home. It's all part of God's plan, my love. You are my woman, and I am your man. It's all part of God's plan, my love. Joining our hearts till death do us part, living forever God's plan.
All right, yan. So that is the singing Cooperative Development Authority director ng Region 2, I think nasa Region 2 na siya ngayon eh. Our former regional director ng CDA CAR, si Attorney Frank Bawang Jr.
Same old thing I've been wishing for. Look up at the sky, beg that same old star. Same old thing I've been waiting on. Pick out a record and sing along to that same old song. Close your eyes, let the melody take you away. When you reach the end, let it start again. Close your eyes, let the melody take you away. When you reach the end, let it start again.
Same old thing that you said before. Take a deep breath. Stop looking at the floor.
Same old thing I've been working on. I got the message, I'm not alone. You could say I've grown. Close your eyes, let the
Message.
Ayun, nako, buti ang camera nag-overheat Tayo nilalamig tayo ngayon. Anyway, that is yung kanina po yung nag-intermission si Attorney Franco G. Bawang Jr., our former CDA CAR director na napunta muna sa Region 2 for now. So, together with the director kat ni Shak DJ Apu, baka nyo nga nairupaan na dalang kalugong ko or Lipakya. And, ayun. Yun, pag nakikita po ninyo yung attendance sheet na nakadrop po dyan sa chat box natin, we are giving you time to fill it up. Kasi yung first 100 na attendees, yung mag-a-appear sa Google Form, sa email address na nakalink dun sa Google Form, may marireceive po kayong t-shirt. Yan, katulad ni Ma'am Rhea. O, tignan niyo yung t-shirt niya. Yan po ang ating t-shirt na ibibigay sa mga first 100 attendees na magsa-sign up po sa Google Form na nakadrop po dyan sa chat box ninyo. So, we are giving you time. Yeah, ito po yung mga parang standard cooperative t-shirt po ng Philippines. So, may logo po siya. We have the official cooperative logo of the country, and then Sa likod, ayan, di ko alam paano yung sa likod. May logo po ang munisipyo ng yan. Nasaan na yung model natin? Di ba? Buti pa si Ma'am Rhea. Ayan po yung logo natin, yung logo ng munisipyo at saka La Trinidad Benguet po na.
Ayun.
Okay na. So, yun po ang ating patoken sa mga first 100. So, keep on sharing and liking our Facebook page live and i-follow na rin ninyo ang Pansigedan Cooperative. Baka may sasabihin si Ma'am Rhea tungkol sa siguro sa services ng cooperative ninyo before we have our messages from the Honorable Vice Mayor and the Honorable Mayor.
Sige, siguro ang masasabi lang natin is Pansigedan Advocacy Co-op, it's an advocacy type of cooperative. So ang ating mga services is on the programs, advocacy programs are on mental health. So meron po tayong clinic dito sa Abating Building, dito Ibitag. And then also we have the for the food innovation. So meron po tayong mga agricultural products like compost and trichoderma. Kan adamot lang ti research no kas pangarigan kahit yung agpatulong ti research, adamot ti research part tayo dito Kan jay last kat dito yung multimedia tayo, iso nga adati studio tayo dito Kan kinanayon nga every Saturday kat adati Pansigedan Hour nga from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock kat adati live nga Pansigedan Hour nga pagtungtungan tayo ti issues nga rumrumar dito pagilian tayo. So siguro kasya iti advocacy. We form jay kasanga services ngit itid mikat ma-align ijay advocacy programs ni PAC.
Ayun. So nagmayat jay advocacy programs na niya every Saturday niya jay Pansigedan Hour. Yan, matsam-sam bakat agbubuya jay previously kat advocacy on voters registration niya.
Yes, voters registration ada kantatangay ka day 3 weeks nga series iti gender-based violence.
Oh, di ba? Sa mga nangangailangan ng kanilang mga services, yan, nandito sila sa KM5 just beside Epiphany Church. Yan, yun yung landmark natin. So, we are happy, ma'am, kasi you gave us also the opportunity to use your platform sa pag-live or pag-live ng ating first La Trinidad Cooperative Congress. Yun.
Salamat din, Sir Orly.
Okay. Now, we shall be hearing a message from our Honorable Vice Mayor, Roderick C. Awingan.
A pleasant day to all cooperative stakeholders in the municipality of La Trinidad. Allow me to convey my congratulations to the organizers and participants to the first La Trinidad Virtual Cooperative Congress, most especially to our Cooperative Development Officer, Mr. Orlando Pacquiao, and his staff, and to the La Trinidad Cooperative Development Council, headed by Mr. Tadeus Bernardo, for coming up with an innovative concept to celebrate our cooperative gains despite the restrictions caused by the COVID-19 and its variants. Indeed, this virtual activity is a celebration of the recognition of the cooperative movement in its indispensable role in national development, particularly the active involvement of cooperative to engage in the delivery of certain basic services, capability building in livelihood projects, improve productivity and income, diversify agriculture, spur rural industrialization, promote ecological balance, and on top of it all, the enhancement of economic and social well-being of the people in the community. As your local government official, me as your Vice Mayor that represents the Sangguniang Bayan, I would like to announce the approval of the La Trinidad Cooperative Development Code of 2021, a first of its kind local legislation in the entire Philippines, sponsored by Councilor Francis Lee and co-sponsored by all the members of the Sangguniang. The ordinance embodies all the different programs, projects, and activities related to cooperative development in the municipality of La Trinidad. Hence, we are now assured the stronger and unending support of the municipality from here on. Let us enjoy this virtual program. Let us learn from the ideas that our resource speakers would be sharing. Let us continue keeping that burning desire to inspire others of the benefits and blessings of the cooperative movement. Congratulations, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Sige, salamat Vice Mayor Roderick Awingan. Iti message yu tata. Kat let's also welcome our mayor, si Honorable Romeo Salda, for his message.
My warmest greetings to the cooperative sector of our beloved municipality of La Trinidad for this first online cooperative congress. It has been a productive year for our cooperatives thanks to the collective efforts and partnership between the LGU co-op stakeholders. Your contribution this pandemic has changed many lives and enterprises. Ended in La Trinidad, the cooperative system has become a vibrant and viral factor in promoting economic upliftment and inclusive, sustainable living for our beloved residents. Through the leaders, members, teamwork, and values, co-ops are more able to pursue for aspiration, contribution meaningfully to nation building. May you continue to be diligent and innovate, thus knowing that hard work pay off. May you always be able to provide your members material assistance, initiate programs that will elevate your ventures, and initiate more activities that will uplift the welfare of your members. Your efforts have already yielded us top honors in the Gawad Parangal nationwide search for the best performing LGU. Co-op Development Office for municipalities. May these awards be the standard of excellence in your field, and may this further galvanize and spur your sector as champions and catalysts of positive transformation. And our guest for is peaceful and progressive La Trinidad, we count on your continued participation in maximizing our opportunities for growth. From my family, employees, and officialdom of La Trinidad, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Mayor Romeo K. Salda, for that inspiring message. Tama po yung sabi ni Vice Mayor kanina sa kanyang mensahe pala na na-approve na po ang ating La Trinidad Cooperative Development Code or the La Trinidad Cooperative Code. So it's in Benguet, tayo po yung first na may co-op code. We have now the co-op code also of the province. But among the municipalities, La Trinidad has the first cooperative code. So congratulations also all of the cooperatives who took part of the creation, the development of this cooperative, helping our Sangguniang Bayan. Ang author po natin si Councilor Francis Lee, which he will be giving also his message later on. So maraming salamat po sa suporta sa ating cooperative sector from the executive until to our legislators. Yun. So may nagtatanong kasi kanina kung may sizes pala ang t-shirt natin. Talaga yung t-shirt talaga, no? So yung t-shirt po natin, first come first serve po yung sizes. Meron po tayong small, medium, large, and extra large. So yung sinusuot po ni Orly Pacquiao ay large at saka medium naman kay Ma'am Rhea. So hopefully, apan kayo iti office kat ada iti size you. San tayo lang, awan ti size tayo, alaan tayo jay available nga sizes. Okay? Thank you so much. And ayan, this is one of the most awaited parts, the message of our guest speaker. But before that, I have the honor to introduce also our guest speaker for today. First time kaming nag-meet nung forest bathing ng La Trinidad. Yeah? Pumunta yung PAC din doon. Ayun, nakilala ko siya doon. So, thank you so much, to the staff also of the Cooperative Development Authority CAR for giving us the copy of the story, the brief profile of our regional director, which I know nga most of our viewers first time na lang nga manggagan ni Ma'am Marieta kasi kaano lang nga idi September lang sa nga in may itoya Cordillera. So our guest of honor and speaker for today is from Liliw, Laguna, and she is happily married with a lovely daughter and a handsome son. Yun. Actually, ang asawa niya is Korean, oppa. Yan. She graduated bachelor's degree in agricultural business at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños as a COCOFED scholar. She also graduated master in business administration from Philippine School of Business Administration, Manila, and she earned units for doctor in public administration from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She also had numerous seminars, short courses, and diploma courses. And with her experience, in 1990, she became the Municipal Trade and Industry Officer of the Department of Trade and Industry, Laguna. So, ayan, nanggaling po siya sa Department of Trade and Industry, which the Cooperative Development Authority is connected now. In 1992, ito na yung story niya sa Cooperative Development Authority. So nag-start po siya sa noong 1992 as sa CDA as Cooperative Development Specialist 2 or CDS 2, and became also a senior CDS, a supervising CDS, a chief CDS, and the regional director. So she rose from the ranks, aligned from being a regional director at present. Ang mga expertise po niya, baka hindi nyo alam, she is also a community organizer, an organizational development practitioner, resource speaker, a training director, event organizer, coordinator, and a facilitator, and a manager and a talented mentor, and a recognized leader, a president of the Siya po, at present siya po ang presidente ng ating Cooperative Development Authority Regional Directors Association. So, join me in welcoming Ma'am Marieta Mayet P. Huang.
The Honorable Mayor Romeo Salda, the Honorable Vice Mayor Roderick Angiwan, the Chairperson of the Committee on Cooperatives, Honorable Councilor Francis Lee, the Chairperson of the Municipal Cooperative Development Council, Mr. Tadeus Bernardo Sr., to our presenters, Dr. Joseph Pognadon, Mr. Joe Pelchona, and Dr. Sherry Launo, our former Regional Director of CDA CAR, who is assigned now in Region 2, Attorney Franco Bawang Jr., the Municipal Cooperative Officer, Mr. Orlando Pacquiao, to all officers and members of various cooperatives, and to everyone who is joining us in this online Cooperative Congress, my warmest greetings to everyone. At this moment, I am joining you virtually from Dagupan City in Pangasinan, and it is my pleasure to be invited in this event. In our present situation, the world needs to focus on the common good and on improving every individual's way of life. While there are various ways to achieve this, I believe that cooperative is the best way. It is in this context that the world needs to embrace the cooperative way of doing business. This means we should recognize the importance of cooperation for the benefit of majority, if not all. Moreover, cooperatives serves as vehicles of inclusive growth, driving development across communities and regions, and accelerating our journey towards equitable progress. The cooperatives have the capacity to break the shackles of poverty and rise to even greater heights. It is a good thing that the month of October has been declared as the Cooperative Month to celebrate the gains of cooperatives and recognize their efforts and contribution to the society. In today's event, we even extended the celebration until today, 9th of December. This year's Cooperative Month celebrated how cooperatives led the way through the pandemic and thanked them for enormous efforts they have made. The team tumutugon sa mga hamon, daan sa pagbangon, nagbibigay pag-asa sa makabagong panahon, reminds us that cooperatives have a vital role to play even in this very challenging time. Evidently, cooperativism is heightened in this time and that cooperatives prove that they are indeed resilient, responsive, and catalysts of development. They have remained steadfast in fighting this pandemic and that the principles of cooperation and concern for the community were completely demonstrated. Representing our institution, the CDA, I know that in times of crisis, cooperatives are ready to support their community without hesitations. Together, let us further advance the cooperative sector towards sustainable and inclusive growth. Let us continue our best efforts and maintain our deep engagement with the society. I commend all the cooperatives in La Trinidad for being able to serve its people and its neighboring municipalities. In a way or another, you have responded to the immediate needs of every client through the diverse services and products you offer. I also commend the Municipality of La Trinidad for being our partner in upholding the CDA mandates. May we all continue to work for development the cooperative way. My heartfelt appreciations to everyone. May you have an insightful and productive gathering. Thank you.
Ayan. So, thank you very much, Ma'am Marieta Huang, for that fantastic and fabulous message.
Oo
Sige.
nga. Grabe ang Ma'am Marieta Huang ang support niya sa mga cooperatives. Kasi maaalala ko yung sinabi niya sa message niya nung pumunta siya sa forest bathing na in love na siya sa Cordillera region. Maraming salamat Ma'am Marieta Huang for the message. Ayan.
Sige. Oo.
Ito na pala mag-explain na tayo. So yung pong yung next part on the program, yung research presentation. So we are lucky to have 3, Maraming salamat din sa Pansigedan kasi kasi may ni-refer sila na mga speakers for today. In La Trinidad, we've been conducting research congress pero nung nagka-pandemic na, wala na rin. Medyo siguro twice lang. Nag-conduct tayo ng twice and this is the 3rd time na magpe-present po tayo ng mga researches and we are happy to have 3 speakers for today. At saka yung ang gaganda ng mga yung mga researches nila, Ma'am Rhea.
Ayan, sige. So, yung sa ating 3 speakers, for most especially kay Ma'am Cheryl Laonyo, nagkanda kasi siya ng research for the CAR, so Cordillera Administrative. So, she was able to tap yung ating regional co-op for this research. And then, it's more on doon sa how does cooperative use yung mga researches. Kasi meron pong research department ang ating cooperative. So, yun po yung kanyang tinutukan. Ayan.
Ayun. So yun yung yun yung ni-refer nila. So we have three siguro pwede nating basahin yung title nila para ma-inform yung mga viewers natin. Yung first na presentation, we have a live presentation Kasi yung dalawa, we're sorry kasi naka-audio visual presentation po sila, but we have one speaker to speak live ngayon. So we have the first title of our research. We have Organizational Needs Assessment of Agri-Based Cooperatives in La Trinidad, Benguet.
Ayan. Yung pangalawa po ay Working Capital Management of Cooperatives in Selected Municipalities in Benguet.
At yung pangatlo, yung sinasabi nga ni Ma'am Rhea kanina, na speaker na si Ma'am Cheryl, Concern for the Community among the Cooperatives in Cordillera Administrative Region, Philippines. So, very exciting yung mga results ng researches na ito. Lalong-lalo na yung pangatlo kasi it's a first time. First time kong marinig or ma-experience ang research na related sa use ng ating Community Development Fund. Kung are we really concerned with our communities that we are implementing our projects or not? Parang ganun. So, without so much ado, i-introduce natin ang ating, siyempre, teacher ko rin ito sa Benguet State University, sa Open University, to present yung kanina na title, Organizational Needs Assessment of Agri-Based Cooperatives in La Trinidad, Benguet. We have the chairperson of the Department of Agricultural and Economics and Agribusiness Management of the Benguet State University. Let's welcome Dr. David Joseph Bugnadon.
Okay. Good morning sa ating lahat. So, my role here is to present our research which is entitled Organizational Needs Assessment of Agri-Based Cooperatives in La Trinidad. But before anything else, I would like to greet everyone a very good morning, especially to our CDA Director, Madam Marieta, our Municipal Mayor of La Trinidad, Romeo Salda, and of course, the members of the Sangguniang Bayan, and of course, the cooperative leaders of La Trinidad and the entire Benguet. So, for the next slide, sir. So let me just first introduce a little bit of our research. So the presentation will be the following. So I'm going to give a little background and of course the reason why we have conducted this research, and then of course the objective, and then number 3 is the methods and the initial result. Okay, next. So actually this research was started in 2019. So our base data actually is of course 2017, 2018, and even 2016. Okay, so in year 2017, this is based from the CDA data, there were 315 cooperative registered in the province of Benguet. And then we have this information that of these 315, 225 are operating, while the 90 cooperatives were non-operating. And what are the reasons for this non-operation? There are varied reasons. Some is, of course, they canceled the registration, they are dissolved, and then there are some cooperatives also who were issued show cause order. Okay, so, and then of these 225 cooperatives, 184 are compliant to regulatory requirements. When we say regulatory requirements, of course, yung mga especially the CDA requirements like the annual accomplishment report. So only 184 are submitting their reports actually. And then of these 184 compliant cooperatives, 15% are categorized as medium and large. And in the municipality of Trinidad, there are 71 registered cooperatives. 24% of the 71 cooperatives are categorized as large and medium, while the rest, 76%, are categorized under the micro and small cooperatives. Of course, when we say micro, usually they are categorized as two assets. So, yung micro, these are cooperatives with total assets of 3 million and below. And then for the small, 3 million above, up to 15 million. And then for the medium, of course, this is now the 15 million above to 50 million, while the large category cooperatives are, of course, 50 and above na. So, we came up with this survey to actually better understand the situation of these cooperatives, especially that most of these cooperatives in our locality are belongs to the small and micro cooperative. It should be better to see a situation wherein mas marami dapat yung medium and large cooperative. But in our situation in La Trinidad, more or less 70% are micro and small cooperatives. So we want to what you call this, lessen the gap. Bakit kukunti lang yung mga large and medium cooperative while there are many micro and small cooperatives? So this survey or this development intervention is expected to lessen this big gap between the micro and the large cooperative. And of course, to improve the sustainability and viability of this agri-based cooperative, because we know na habang sustainable and establish yung cooperative, the more it can help in the community development, especially employment and other economic contributions in the economy. This survey or research actually is aligned with the advocacy nga iti CDA. If you remember or maybe heard in the past, adaya kung kunada nga big cooperatives helping small cooperatives, or big brother small brother cooperative concept, wherein this big cooperative should be helping also the small cooperatives. And then of course this is also aligned, this survey is also aligned with the principle, cooperative principle nga, cooperation among cooperatives. So each cooperative should be helping one another. And then another one, this study is a joint undertaking of several organizations actually. Our department, the Department of Agricultural Economics and Agribusiness Management, maybe I can say na initiated this survey wherein it involves different organizations and agencies. Like for instance, we have also CDA. Actually, during the conceptualization of this survey, CDA is already involved in this. And then, of course, we have ORLIC of the Municipal Cooperative Development Council, and then, of course, some employees also of the Northern Luzon Federation of Cooperatives, and then, of course, the two big cooperatives in La Trinidad, the Benguet State University and Community Multipurpose Cooperative, and then the La Trinidad Trading Post. Actually, they already give their commitment to support this cooperative development intervention, which is the initial step is to conduct this survey, research survey. Okay, next. So the objective of this survey or research is are the following actually: to assess and better understand the organizational needs of agri-based cooperatives. In this research or study, we defined agri-based cooperatives as those cooperatives that are serving or catering to the farmers. Okay, and then the next is to generate new knowledge on agri-based cooperatives, organizational development, and management. Of course, under this research, we cannot skip the fact na as an educational institution, BSU, we will be, of course, generating new knowledge and information about this business model, which is the cooperative. And then the third objective of this survey is to generate and provide benchmark information for future organizational development interventions to the cooperatives in La Trinidad. So based on the information that we will gather from this research, we will try to make use of this information to develop technical intervention to these cooperatives. Kasi nga yung overall na objective natin is at least we lessen the gap between these micro and small cooperatives as against these big and large cooperatives. So those are the three objectives of this research. But at this point in time, I like to emphasize that this research is actually, although we started in 2019, of course, 2020, nagkaroon ng pandemic, so medyo na-delay yung pagtatapos ng research na ito. So, up to the present, actually, we are still continuing this research, no? But the information that I am presenting now actually is, of course, for us to gain some information about the status of our cooperatives here in La Trinidad, very timely for this cooperative congress. So the method of the research that we adopted are the following. No? It is a descriptive survey because we make use of a survey questionnaire to gather information from the different cooperatives in La Trinidad. If you remember, for those who participated in the Cooperative Congress in 2019, during that Congress, face-to-face pa yun, we distributed some questionnaires and then interviewed some of the officers who participated in that Congress. So this is now actually the result. No? So, and then of course, aside from the survey questionnaire, we also source out some information from the cooperatives, because after the interview, if there are some additional data that we needed, we have to follow through the cooperatives. You have to visit their offices. And then get some information also from the Cooperative Development Authority. And then here are the results. Ano? Let me give first some profile actually of the respondents. There were 29 individual participants during the Congress who were able to accomplish the questionnaire. So 29 yung mga respondents natin na nagsumagot doon sa survey natin. But they are representing 22 cooperatives. As to their gender, 21 are female and then yung 8 are males. As to age bracket, these are their age bracket. Ano? So mostly, they are in their productive years. So 24%, 45 to 50. And then 51 to 60, 24%. And then the rest, usually, mga leaders natin sa cooperative, they belong to the ages na 61 and above. The current positions in the cooperative for those respondents who participated in this survey, 7 are management staff, and then 4 are secretary of the board, and then the 9 are committee officers, and then of course there were board of directors 9 din. And then as to the profile of the cooperatives, there are actually 5 micro cooperatives who were respondents in the survey. 8 are small, medium na 6, and then there were 3 large cooperative also who participated in the survey. And then as to their registered area of operation, we can see here na maraming cooperative are barangay based. 8 sila, municipal base is 4, and then yung provincial is 5, and then 5 din na regional. Mostly yung mga malalaki na cooperative, large type cooperatives, they are their operation is registered as regional. Yung mga micro, usually they are in the municipal and the barangay based categories. Next, as to the types of services that they are offering, may isa na marketing, meaning they buy agricultural products and then sell even agricultural supplies. And then 5 are involved in the credit and savings. And then yung multipurpose, mas marami yung multipurpose na nag-respond. Of course, when we say multipurpose, it is a combination of 2 or more services. So it's either they are credit, savings, and then they have a consumer's store or trading services. And then we have also water service cooperatives. So ito, may mga kwan pala tayo, mga cooperatives na their service is providing water utilities. And then we have one advocacy cooperative. So those are the types of services that these cooperatives participated. And then this survey, actually, we try to look into the 8 components of the cooperatives. So we try to understand ano ba yung situation ng mga cooperatives as to leadership, as to their management, as to their finance, as to their procedures, policies, and systems. So the first information is about leadership. So sa leadership, it says here, 84% of the cooperatives follow the standard organizational structure. So in our observation, information that we gathered, most of the cooperatives are actually following yung standard ni structure natin na the highest policy making body is the General Assembly. And then from the General Assembly, they have now the Board of Directors and the different committees. For the committees, these are the existing committees that are usually existing in these cooperatives. So we have the election committee, which is elected, the audit committee, elected din, and then of course we have the appointed committees like conciliation and mediation committee, the ethics committee, gender and development, and then the education committee. Tinanong namin sila, how would you assess the activeness or participation of these committees in the operation of these cooperatives? So if you can see, we have here the percentages, and it is the election committee yung parang pinerceive nila na very active committee. And then of course we have also the audit, yung audit yung pinaka active. And then we have also the education committee. So these are the 3 very active committees in the cooperative: audit, election, and then the education. Na understandable naman nga these 3 committees have a very important and significant role talaga sa cooperative. Okay, next. We also asked them with regards to leadership, ano ba yung status ng compliance sa mga trainings na binibigay ng CDA, because in the cooperative we have the 3 mandatory required trainings. We have first the fundamentals of cooperatives, we have the governance, and then we have the financial and risk management. which is the third training required, and then from the different group of officers, we can see here na it is the board of directors mostly ang nakakaabil ng mga mandatory trainings. The rest, medyo hindi masyado, if you can see, 27%, 23% lang yung parang nagpa-participate, nakakaabil ng mga mandatory trainings. So this is one area na dapat tignan din natin in the future interventions that we are going to do coming from this research. Next. And then, these are actually the reasons na sinasabi nila kung bakit sila hindi nagko-comply. They are busy, most of them are farmers, and so they are busy in the farm. And then, there is also lack of communication. Actually, itong mga words na ito, I just speak out from their words they use during the survey. So, lack of communication, siguro is some sort of miscommunication about this training. And then they are also busy in their functions as officers. And then some say they have no time to attend training, maybe because they are also busy in their personal activities. And then as to we also ask them, meron ba kayong parang training program? This is still on the part of the leadership. Meron ba kayong training program na yung training program is really you are the one who crafted this training for your officers and leaders. 8 cooperatives said na meron silang training program, while the rest walang training program. Ano ang ginagawa doon sa walang training program? Let us see the next slide. But prior to that, ito pa, yung leadership challenges actually are, of course, these are the following, na binanggit nila. Lack of support from members, busy in the farm, lack of time management, conflict of work schedule, competition with the members, business, especially these cooperatives who are involved in trading, yung selling of agricultural products and selling, So there are members na parehas yung services na ino-operate din nila. And then lack of income source of the cooperative. These are the leadership challenges na nai-encounter ng ating mga cooperative leaders. The next area is the management staff. So after leadership, we look into their management staffing also. So as per the respondents, the length of employment that we have gathered is most of the respondents are employed in the cooperative for 1 to 3 years. And then the rest, meron namang 4 na 4 to 6 years, and then 7 to 10 years, 4 years, and then there were respondents who said na they have been actually working in the cooperatives for more than 10 years. And then as to the number of employees and status in the cooperatives, this is of course the information coming from the cooperatives. So as to the employment status of regular, according to the cooperatives that we have interviewed, there are 96 employees that are classified as regular. And then part-time, may 19, and then under probationary, 3, and then volunteer, 9, and then yung mga may classification din na job order na 1. So from this we can see na even dito lang sa Trinidad, mayroon ding malaking contribution ang cooperatives in terms of employment. Remember na we only interviewed 22 cooperatives, and how much more yung if we are going to include the 71 cooperatives here in La Trinidad, baka mas marami pa makikita natin yung information regarding their employment generation. And then ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na training o program, training program. So only 6 cooperatives have training program for staff, while the 5 cooperatives have no training program. ito yung medyo siguro lacking information because the other cooperatives did not reply on this question regarding training program. But for those who responded, at least nag-gather namin yung reason why there were no training program of the cooperative. Apeng awanti training program yung da kayo nga mismo ti agaramid. So these are the reasons just avail training of LGUs and avoidees. So they are very lucky because the LGU is providing trainings and they just avail that no that the training i-conduct the LGU or avoidees, they will attend. But on their part, there is no training program that is prepared kasi mas maganda sana kung sila mismo yung parang based on the needs of their employees and leaders, they are going to develop a training program. And then depend on the training of federation also. This is one fact also na one of the organizations that they depend on trainings are the federations and unions. So wala silang training program but at least we have also these agencies na nagpro-provide ng training to them. Okay? So what are the challenges usually that are encountered by the management staff? So there were cooperatives na since they are very small, there are no managers and bookkeepers. So puro part-time And then members are relatives and hesitant to give comments, especially yung mga barangay-based talaga na cooperatives na most of them are, the members are relatives. So medyo ang sinasabi nila dito, kung meron mang negative comments that they would like to say to their officers, hindi na nila masasabi kasi relatives, they respect the relatives and of course some other reasons pangandang ibaga dagiti comments da. And then lack of writing skills of staff, that is one challenge also that we were able to gather. And then there is fast staff turnover. Of course, it is understandable, especially for small and micro and even medium cooperatives who cannot really give a what you call this salary, a required minimum salary. There is always a tendency that their employees will be looking for greener pasture. So we have this problem na fast staff turnover. And then members not paying their share capital and loans. So of course, again, especially for small cooperatives, if the cooperative is not yet well established, there is always that reservation for the members to fully support or give their share capital. Pero kung sana yung mga members before that cooperative was organized na nakuha na yung parang 100% commitment nila, then they are going to contribute their share capital. Next, on finance. So we have already the leadership, the management. Let's go to their finance. Marami yung information about finance, but we try to summarize for purposes of this presentation. So of the 71 cooperatives or let's say yung mga respondents, the highest total assets of the respondent cooperative actually is 500. This is one of the large cooperative, 500 million total assets. And then yung pinaka-small or the smallest capital of the cooperatives is 800,000. This is of course as of December 2019. For the share capital, the highest or the biggest cooperative that we have interviewed have a total share capital of 90 million, while the yung small, yung maliit na cooperative, it is 400,000 share capital. As to their net surplus, from actually we look into the financial statements, the net surplus of the big cooperatives is 30 million. Ito yung highest, with a return on asset ratio of 5%. So malaki yung rate of return on assets na 5%. because even banks mga 3%, ano, yung average nila. And then the lowest, of course, na net surplus, it is a loss actually, is 1 million with a rate of return on asset of negative 15%. So this is the information that we like to share with regards to finance, ano, but as I've said earlier, mas marami pang information regarding the financial aspect of the cooperatives. And these are the challenges when it comes to finance, ano. Limited service, need to become multi-purpose. Of course, they have this thinking na because they have a only one service that they are providing, so there is a limited income. And so there are cooperatives na purely credit or purely trading, and they want to be converted into multi-purpose cooperative, kasi of course the thinking is with the multi-purpose setup, mas marami silang mai-provide na services. And then lack of bookkeeping services, this is still aligned with the finance, ano, because of course very important yung record keeping in terms of finance. And then lack of capital contribution, as I have mentioned a while ago, usually mga small cooperatives, they have not yet reached that point wherein they can already pay their employees, they can already give also honorarium to their officers. Delinquency rate actually is a problem na it is applicable both to small and the big cooperatives. Common ito, lahat sila sinasabi na it is delinquency, ano. But there are also cooperatives, especially the large, wherein yung isang binanggit nila na challenge is there are few borrowers, but and then of course there are big deposits in the cooperative. So but kukunti lang yung umuutang. And then few member borrowers borrowing, share capital not within the CDA standard. I think ang ibig nilang sabihin dito is, of course, under the CDA we have the co-op peso standard, ano. So may mga standards doon na dapat yung share capital mo, if you are this big if you have these total assets, kailangan a certain percentage is your share capital. So ito yung sinasabi nila na yung share capital daw nila, it is not at par with the CDA standard. Kasi nga sa co-op peso, merong dong required na what you call this, share capital percentage of the total assets. Next, as to the services offered of the respondent cooperatives, these are the statistics, ano. Credit and savings 12, which is 55% of the total respondents. And then we have water service, and then the trading. Okay, next, what are the problems that usually these cooperatives are encountering regarding their services? So lack of member participation, not all stall owners are members. These are cooperatives that are located in the public market, ano. And then low collection of share capital, past due loans, as we have mentioned a while ago in the finance, and then not automated accounting system. So this is one area also, given na of course medyo high-tech na tayo ngayon, ano. So pero there are cooperatives that are still very manual in their accounting system. Low production of vegetable also, because as we said, most of the members are of these cooperatives are farmers. And when there is problem on their production, pati din yung mga share capital, loan performance also will be affected. Delinquent members, not delinquent on loans, but delinquent members kasi sabi nila, there are activities of the cooperative na yung mga members hindi nagpa-participate. Okay? And then low capacity water pump, this is very specific for the cooperatives that are providing water services. But even if there are a lot of challenges in the services, ito naman yung nakikita ng mga respondents natin na parang opportunity, ano. One is the linkage and expansion of membership. And this is true because if you look at the statistics here in La Trinidad, ilan kaya yung hindi pa member ng cooperative? Actually, marami. If we have a population of, let's say, 300,000 in La Trinidad, baka 10% or mga 20% ang member lang sa cooperative. So how about the 70%? We can still have an expansion of membership. And then, isang opportunity din na sinasabi nila, yung low interest rate of loans. Of course, we know that is true. Our cooperatives are offering low interest rate as compared to other financial institution. But I think this is one also that we should be taking advantage of to advertise the services of these cooperatives in terms of their loans. Next, as to policies, 80% of the cooperative have written vision, mission, goals, and bylaws. So we are happy for this because at least even the small cooperatives have their vision and mission statements. And then 86% have business permit and submitted the CAPR, the accomplishment report to CDA. 68% of the co-ops have tax exemption. Actually, dapat ito 80%, but there were cooperatives who said na they are still processing their tax exemptions. The co-op cooperative perceived their policies as 79% implementation. So, referring to this policy on operation, membership, accounting, and personnel. Challenges that they encountered when it comes to their policies. Of course, sabi nila, not all the policies are fully implemented. And then some members do not comply with the policies. And then there were also cooperatives who mentioned na kailangan daw i-refine nila yung policies nila given the developments in our community, especially cooperative laws. And then inactive committees, as we have seen, most of the committees are not so active. It's not except the audit, the education, and yung election committee. Need to amend policies to jibe with the national cooperative policies. So this is one area also na in the future we will try to look into this, how our CDA, our assisting organizations can give updates to our cooperatives regarding policies. Next, and then the support services. Support services, actually, these are the facilities of the cooperative. So 77% of the respondent co-op have funded statutory funds. So when we say statutory funds, dagito yung General Reserve Fund, CETF, optional fund, and of course the community guarantee fund. So these are the funds that they have, and according to them, it is funded, meaning datipundo na. Next is in terms of membership. This is an area na we were not able to gather the membership or number of members of the cooperatives. But one area that we were able to gather is their membership in the federations and unions. And we can see here na ito yung mga membership nila sa federation. Of course, in our cooperative laws, it is required that our cooperatives should be members of these federations and unions. But let us look on the statistics with regards to their membership. So, yung pinakamalaki na membership nila is of course, Benguet Provincial Cooperative Union. Magandang information yan, At least BPCU is really located here in La Trinidad. And then there are a few who are affiliated with the national and regional federations like CARCO, Norlucidec, and NATCO. So mostly they are affiliated with the BPCU. But if you see here also, there are 15% with no affiliation. So I think these are also areas that we need to provide assistance to our cooperatives. Next. And then ito yung pinaka-last na, no? So actually we also ask them what technical assistance or services that would you like to avail from our assisting agencies and regulatory agencies like CDA. For CDA, ito yung sinasabi nila na assistance from CDA. Reminders of government requirements. So every now and then gusto nila na ma-remind what are the required reports that they are going to submit. Okay? And then training on business development. So ito consistent din ito na request nila na yung business development daw, because one of their problems nga is yung sustainability and viability of their operations. Then the next one is the training on leadership and team building. So puro training, ano? Training and monitoring of cooperatives, upscaling inspection for organic vegetable. These are cooperatives that are engaged in organic vegetable. Parang ma-upscale daw yung inspection for organic, kasi sa organic trading or vegetable, there are actually parang technique or ways how they are going to determine whether they pass the standard for organic vegetable. Guidance and monitoring from CDA, resource speakership during trainings. So yun din yung parang hinihiling nila na during their trainings, if CDA will be there to act as their speakers and resource persons. And then fast access and processing of CAPR and financial statements. So these are the things that they have mentioned regarding their assistance needed from CDA. For the federations and unions, ito naman parehas din, ano? Trainings on business development, technical assistance on manual of operation. So if you can see here, yung manual operation is very important really in the operations of the cooperative, and these are the things that they want to be appealed. Technical assistance in coordination with the Municipal Cooperative Development Council. So it's an opportunity that we have our very active Municipal Development Council, Cooperative Council, to be providing technical assistance. Financial assistance also mentioned, and then ito very important also from the part of the federation and union, ano, clear distinction of federation and union members and non-members. There were cooperatives who are saying na parang hindi namin makita yung difference if we are a member of a federation and union, because if we are going to attend trainings, parehas naman yung binabayaran namin. If there is a difference, a very small difference. So yun ang tignan din natin. And then trainings. And then next, we also ask them, ano ba yung kailangan ninyo naman sa Benguet State University, and of course MCDC, and then La Trinidad LGU, ano? So these are their requests. Education assistance to cooperative employees from BSU, lot for building of cooperative, and then training on composting, organic fertilizers, and then business affairs to understand cooperative business, cooperative in business. These are the things also. There are things here that we still need to validate, and then to get more explanation from the cooperatives. You know? So I think this is also an opportunity. This Cooperative Congress is an opportunity for us to maybe give additional information regarding this research, and then validate this information that we are providing. You know, provide venue for General Assembly, especially BSU has facilities sa gym. You know? And then assistance in policy making, assistance in livelihood training, and then actual extension services. For the LGU and the Municipal Cooperative Development Council, ito naman yung mga hinihiling nila na technical assistance, financial assistance, computers daw, ano? Especially yung mga small cooperatives that are really in need of computers. Trainings and seminars, brochure on services and programs of cooperative. So, meron tayo ditong cooperative, advocacy cooperative. I think we can also take advantage of this advocacy cooperatives to promote our cooperatives. Technical assistance for water system operation, especially sigurado galing ito sa mga water service cooperatives. And provision of general assembly venue. And then their implementation of solar irrigated pumps. Again, this is coming from the water cooperatives. Maybe the Department of Agrarian Reform has a project regarding yung solar irrigated pump. Ano? And then special window for large cooperative. This is actually regarding yung parang if possible, the cooperatives can create a window for assistance to this small cooperatives, and then training on livelihood projects. So next, so what's next after this study? As I have said earlier, this is actually still ongoing because we have to validate the information that we have gathered, and this Congress, I'm taking this opportunity to have this validated. No? So maybe by and by, after our presentation and presentation of the others, we can have some feedback from you. And then what's next after this study? Finalize the study and come up with strategies for intervention, because that is actually the ultimate objective of this study. Formalized plan for a joint technical intervention. So in our office, CDA, and then the LGU, and then MCDC, the federations, we come together to plan out how we are going to implement this technical assistance to the cooperatives. Integration of the survey result to the strategic plan of the stakeholders and assisting agencies, especially MCDC or the Municipal Development Council. I am sure na during this period, you are already planning to have a planning for development assistance. Ano? Maybe the result of this information, initial result, can already be integrated in the plan. We can identify some areas that we can have some intervention jointly. Okay? Next. So wala na pala. Thank you very much. And once again, happy Cooperative Month celebration. I am really excited to be with you today, especially that it's my first time na mayroon palang ganito, online congress. So thank you very much. Good morning.
Sige, so salamat Sir Joseph for that interesting nga pagpresentar tayo, iti research tayo tata. Kat kasla nga sige, ti no ni siya akat nga nagdengegkin ka sir. Tinaawatak ti kat research tayo is panggap ti needs assessment. Dagiti cooperative tayo kat nakitak ngay nga ti kasla nga kasapulan ti mostly nga agri-based cooperative tayo kat awan unay ti training programs da. Dayay ada nga ti leadership challenges damot lang. Trading, basically marketing medyo marigatan da nga agbirok ti markets da. Kun daytoy management staff mo't lang. Kung kat siguro narigat piman nga mang timpla no ti empleyado mo't kapamilya mo't lang. Kasay kun syempre jay finances narigat piman ti papel. nga iaramid tagi siya ikan siya schedules. So di ay talaga nga makita kat kastoy ti kasa nga kasapulan ti cooperatives tayo. Ayun. So parang siguro no ni Shakpiman nga agre-reflect nga general manager ti PAC nga may nga advocacy cooperative kat syempre data ko mga ti katulungan mi. Iso nga siguro di ay mabalin mi siguro nga i-explore dagitoy on our side ta di garud medyo na kami mut lang kat isettle mi pa jay cooperative mi ta karurugi mi lang intunto no yung sa amin naman kat mabalin mi nga explore dayto ita makatulong kami to dagiti cooperatives tayo mut lang di ay so mayat na yes sir
nagdakkel ti kwa and very timely dito pinaka-create iti advocacy cooperative yo kasi one of the needs iti cooperative kat as a movement actually is ngay katlang promotion of the cooperative because limited nga ti kalangan knowledge ti kaduan regarding cooperatives no kuna tayo nga cooperative kat ti cooperative pag-utangan aday takat para rural people day talang nagibabasit nga ko nga farmers lang ti king kailangan ti cooperative but actually cooperative diya kung kunada nga is a new business model nga we have to take advantage especially that we are in a democratic country santo especially adu pa iti farmers tayo and we are agri-based nga country.
Oo. When sir makita tayo nga talagang when kastamot lang tinaawatan mi sir cooperative kat dayti kat may sanga business model so agnig-negosyo tayo mut lang dito actually.
When
sige sir so kitan tayo sir no adati damagyo no adati questions yung ije presentation ni Sir Joseph mabalin yung nga ikabel ije chat box tayo tapno damagan tayo diretso kay ni sir no adaman ti questions tayo
ito dagi sa sumasarong sang speakers kat puro ko niya recorded dito lang ti live
na in may pima ni sir dito ayan ti studio tayo although nagijay other speakers matkiti nga recorded adamat lang ti kasanga question and answer tayo damdama. Sumbat dala lang ti chat.
Ay, kas jay.
On sir. Si.
Ay, sa ti question niya.
Dapat ti questions tayo dita.
Ag-pop up ba di?
On sir. Makita tayo dita. Ayan. Or siguro kwa sir. Siguro ti agdamag pa umuna. No, kasi ti agdagdag sir tatay ng ikatkuan mostly nga ikat ti challenges tayo nga ikat formation daytoy management dagitoy leadership training ngam apay nga ta sir nga kasjay nga daytoy formation ti cooperatives ti talagang nga karigatan da iti kasapulan da
ti sitwasyon piman gamin kat kastoy ngay iti cooperative as a voluntary organization talagang no inyet adda kada isoda no nag-interest dang agforma ti cooperative isi isoda latan ikumpara tayo nga iti daddo mga organizations kas paligan ti bangko niya nagforma ka iti bangko i-require nga dati di kapitalan dati kapital dati iti na train nga tattao kas jengay iso nga usually banks kat talaga nga once nga nag-operate dakat tuloy-tuloy di pag-angat da ngam iti cooperative especially community cooperatives piman kala nga volunteer irugin lang ti volunteer people dagito so ti daduma awan ti training da regarding management so along the way akat agad adal dan so di ti kalang nga problema until such time nga makaadal da stages da nga ag micro da niya no nakayanan da di agbalinda nga small so nagadu da steps nga pagdalanan da until such time nga ma-attend da mutan adya kat lang di ko namon nga ma-stabilize da di operation da umitkita dan that's the time nga makaabil dati higher trainings and then ag-sustain dan especially nga formation dito iti area nga ko nga very critical tano adda ka pa lang di micro katamo nga ma-prove nga you are viable a tendency is ag-close santo ti may sapay no nakita tayo di present me kuangay dagay small and micro cooperatives usually volunteer iti management staff dito. So no volunteer ka, there is a limited time nga ag-volunteer ka eh. Usually sige ag-volunteer kami mabalin na 2 years. Pero after that no talagang kayan ti cooperative pumanaw da. So di ayan di rumor di problema nga fast turnover ngong kunada nga fast turnover ta anda nga maanusan nga talaga piman nga forever mot nga volunteer da. They can always volunteer pero ada jay limited time. So dagijay iti usually problems especially for the micro and small cooperatives with regards to formation and management in their early stages. Okay.
Sige, sir. Sige, kitaan tayo ba? Ada ba Sige. Habang pag-uurayan tayo, dagiti damag yo, Sir Joseph, ituloy ko lang inya.
Sige.
Kasi, maawatak nga, data nga dagiti management staff, talaga nga there is really a certain time nga maka-volunteer da. Syempre, kasi nga talaga gayam ti cooperative, tapat din na kami dito ikat volunteers mat lang.
Ay, so,
Sir.
especially first year yung pa lang niya.
Especially dito nga first year, mi ka talaga nga volunteer sa amin. Ngam da kami, sir, tikit-kitaan mi, syempre, there really is a certain time nga ag-volunteer. Ngam tayo, di ba, co-op tayo mat, diba ang co-op is a business model. Sumahaan ba nga mabalin nga kinyami kitaan mi ngay nga no the next year no commit kita ni co-op o di mabalin tayo nga pasaluan na gito yung management staff tapno awan ti umikat.
Dapat ang kasjay the shorter the time nga mabayadam nagijay ko mag-volunteer the better kasi ma-ensure mo nga they will stay and support the organization. No bumaybayag nga ibagbagang nga volunteer dakat ko talaga nga medyo narigat. So nga as a management in terms of operation, the shorter the period nga makaya mag-produce iti financially so that you can at least ma-meet mo nga di ka lang minimum wages iti cooperative staff, the better.
Sir.
Oo, di ba? Kung nakngol ka tayo nga, di bangko kat pag-start da nga kasta ka talaga nga well-funded nga amin nga staff dakat kwan kat well-paid. So talaga nga tuloy-tuloy nga ag-sustain di nga miti cooperative because it is a volunteer organization. It will always pass the stage nga micro and then small and then may encounter na nga talaga dagay kakasday nga problems nga agad fast turnover.
Ayan, sige sir, oo. So, kitaan tayo dagiti comments kuna ni Ma'am Feli Sinon kat nice Sir Joseph
Yes.
kunana.
Sir ma'am.
Ayan, tapos si Ma'am Lina Agaldang. Well informed Sir Joseph kunana. Tapos, ayan, sige. Ay, data. Kas lang awan sa unay ti questions tayo, kas lang naawatan tayo amin the presentation ni Sir Joseph.
Win ma'am, kahit ko lang emphasize nga kwa,
Sir.
actually kat dito nga research kat it is a collaboration of different organization. So hopefully because this is just an initial stage once nga maamuan tayo, ma-finalize tayo, maamuan tayo dagay needs iti cooperatives, hopefully the coming months or years we will be cooperating as one in relation to the kunana big cooperatives helping small cooperatives, and of course with the federations and unions we will be coming together to provide technical assistance to these small cooperatives. So this is just the first part, and of course to those organizations nga kaya da nga maki-participate ditoy napinpintas manen nga maki-join da, especially ditoy advocacy nga ditoy. I think advocacy cooperative dakkel ti role yu dito in terms of the word promotion iti cooperatives. Taday tati may isang challenges challenges iti cooperative movement the information, advocacy, and information about cooperatives.
Ayan, sige
Yes.
sir. Oo. So, thank you very much, Sir Joseph, para iti presentation mo ti research tayo. Sige lang, no, ada pa iti questions you kini, sir, mabaling ikabal yung lata chat box and then damag tayo to kanyan.
Sige.
Ayan, sige po.
Okay. Okay na?
Okay na, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Bugnadon. Yeah. Nag-medyo presentations na medyo discussions yung tatay. Although imon monitor ko ijay chat box sa kat naawatan lamat amin. Ada pa iti-text nga ayun. Iti-text da nga piman nga medyo result nga in present ni sir nga jay initial findings jay research karkaro jay kailangan iti cooperative sector yan. Nakigtod da apay nga ni ada ti agri request iti seminar on composting kung kuna na ijay chat box dadta ijay direct message from our viewers. Kat the next speaker kat ti advisor naman lang dito kat ni Dr. Joseph Bugnadon matlang isa the previous speaker tayo niya. So let me introduce to you our second speaker to talk on working capital management of cooperatives in selected municipalities in Benguet. Amok nga dahito iti urayan yung may samat lang anya ta idinaminsan kat dahito may isang topic tayo is on working capital iti cooperative. So let me introduce to you our second speaker. He is from Tublay, Benguet, and he just graduated his master's in agribusiness iti Metlang Benguet State University, and a certified public accountant and a licensed professional teacher. And right now, he is currently teaching in Bahrain as a high school teacher in Philippine High School. Our second speaker, let's welcome Sir Joe Pelchona.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Joe Pelchona, the advisee of Dr. David Joseph Bugnadon during my master's degree at Benguet State University. I am sorry that I cannot have this presentation live with you because of time differences. I am currently in the Kingdom of Bahrain, Middle East. But I hope that you will learn something from my research on the working capital management of cooperatives in selected municipalities of Benguet. So first and foremost, what is working capital and why does it need to be managed? Working capital is composed of current assets of a business, particularly cash, accounts receivable, and the inventories held for sale. The reason it is called working capital is that these are the three assets primarily used in the operations or work in the business. Cash is the blood of the firm. Accounts receivable or yung pautang is made to allow more sales, whereas the inventories are needed to make, obviously, a sale. So proper management of the working capital would lead to prosperity, gain of profits, or otherwise, if it's not properly managed, it would lead to losses and ultimately bankruptcy. Cooperatives are very important businesses in the Philippines, especially since our country has a majority rural area. So in Benguet, majority is rural, with the exemption of La Trinidad and Baguio City, which is urban, La Trinidad close to being an urban municipality. These cooperatives help the community to provide with their needs. And as such, the RA or Republic Act number 9520, also known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008, defines a cooperative as an autonomous and duly registered association of persons with a common bond of interest who have voluntarily joined together to achieve their social, economic, and cultural needs and aspirations by making equitable contributions to their capital required, to the capital required, patronizing their products and services, and accepting a fair share of the risks and benefits of the undertaking in accordance with universally accepted cooperative principles. Despite the important role of cooperatives and the importance of working capital management, sadly, no studies have focused on these two subjects together. With this importance and lack of study, this research, my research, was made to address some problems and know what cooperatives in Benguet are doing with their working capital. And for my conceptual framework, I have here the independent variable as the application of working capital management strategies. With a certain level of application of these strategies would affect the firm's position measured in terms of liquidity and solvency, and also how the firm will earn its profits by measuring profitability. Financial liquidity presents the ability of a firm to meet its existing obligations. And existing obligations are not just limited to payables or yung mga due dates, but more importantly, the business operations. A current ratio, usually of 2:1 or more, is deemed to be the most acceptable. So, for our listeners here who are managers of cooperatives, you may want to check your current ratio. If it is within this range, then your cooperative is deemed to be liquid. Next is solvency. It presents the ability of a firm to meet long-term obligations, particularly to the investors. The best measure for this is the debt to equity ratio, that is for every investment made by owners, for every capital contribution of the members, how much does the cooperative borrow from external creditors? Basically, there should be more investments, of course, by the members. That is why a debt to equity ratio of 0.50 is to 1, or below that is implied good solvency. We want to have more investments than liabilities. Next is for profitability. For this ratio, return on equity is the best measure, whereby it shows how much investors get in terms of profit in exchange for 1 peso of investments. While there are no standard figures for an acceptable return on equity, as long as it is positive, then it is good. So sometimes it depends on our goals, on our desires, ang return on equity. So ikaw na, if you are a member of a cooperative, for every share capital contribution you give, how much are you expecting to get in return? Or if not the expectations, how much is actually given back to you pag dinidistribute na ang mga dividends? No, that is a small measure of return on equity, point of view of the members. Now, point of view of the cooperatives, for every total members' contributions, magkano ang kinikita ng cooperatives. So of course, wala namang cooperative na gustong malugi. That's why you have to be able to apply all strategies to become profitable. So with all those background information, this study determined the working capital management strategies applied by cooperatives, their financial position and performance, and since their Working capital management affects liquidity, solvency, and profitability of a firm, its relationship with each other. So, for the hypothesis of the study, since I thought, or a lot of theories have stated that if you manage working capital properly, therefore you will become liquid, you will be solvent, you will be profitable. No? How about applying this in Benguet? So, we have to hypothesize that there is a significant direct or positive relationship between working capital management and financial position and performance of cooperatives in Benguet. No? Who knows? Applicable siguro siya sa ibang areas, pero baka sa Benguet cooperatives, it is of a different case. For my methodology, this study used a descriptive correlational study or design where I describe, or there is a description of the strategies applied and the position and performance of the firms and correlating these two variables. Initially, the locale should have been the whole province of Benguet, but respondents from other municipalities were not able to return back to the questionnaires. And thus, this study was delimited to 3 municipalities only: the municipality of Bukod, La Trinidad, and Tublay. From the 3 municipalities, I was able to gather 12 responses out of initial planned 38 multi-purpose cooperatives with a focus on consumer product sales. They were the cooperatives considered so as to be able to test the management of inventories. I did not take into consideration credit cooperatives, pure credit cooperatives, or basta kung wala silang inventories, it was taken out of the respondents. Since inventories is one of the working capital, I really wanted to test the larger perspective of working capital management. Although it does not mean that working capital management for credit cooperatives cannot be taken. Pwede naman. Of course, you will just remove inventories from your independent variables. Financial statements, on the other hand, were requested, or I requested them directly from the Cooperative Development Authority. I asked permission from the head of CDA Benguet. When the survey questionnaires were returned, they were subjected to statistical measures such as getting the average and correlating the findings through Pearson's product momentum correlation. After having statistical analysis, these are the results of the working capital management strategies among cooperatives in selected municipalities of Benguet. So as you can see here, all cash management strategies are applied. Holding cash for a purpose, preparing cash budget, depositing cash immediately, slightly delaying payments, investing idle cash, and other cash control procedures. For cash and short-term investment management, there is a strong application on holding cash for transactions for compensatory purposes, precautionary purposes, and speculative purposes. For holding cash for transactions, the most obvious evidence here is that they leave certain amounts in their cash box for the next day's operations. Compensatory are held in banks, precautionary and speculative are held to make a purchase should there be a bargain or emergency purposes. Other procedures strongly applied were the conduct of bank reconciliation and segregation of duties. This is cash control procedures to reduce the risk of cash mishandling. For segregation of duties, kung sino ang nagko-collect, iba dapat yung person na nag-disperse. No? If the collecting personnel and disbursing personnel is one and the same, there is a higher risk that cash will be mishandled. But it is a good evidence among cooperatives in Benguet that there is a segregation of those duties. Also, bank reconciliation is one of the strong cash management strategies to ensure that the balances in the bank matches that of the book. Next is for accounts receivable management. All of the strategies for accounts receivable are applied with credit evaluation with a strong application at 4.21 means that the 5 C's of credit, which is character, or the 5 C's of credit, which is character, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions, are looked into before allowing customers to borrow. This is supported by ZIA, the study of ZIA in 2011 and Song in 2017. And the study of Camble and Rawal in 2019, whereby they said that applying the 5 C's of credit is the most important thing to consider before giving a credit. But obviously, Benguet cooperatives are really scrutinizing all of these 5 before magpautang sila or mag-lend out sila ng loan. No? This could also be an implication na medyo liberal ang mga cooperatives ng Benguet. Ano? Kasi nung tinanong ko sila after the survey questionnaire, sabi nila is nagpapautang pa rin naman kahit alam nilang may mga ganitong issue. So I think it's a good thing if next studies would focus on the application or how the 5 C's in evaluating credit is made by each cooperatives and a focus also on credit cooperatives. Next is for inventories management. Other inventory controls are least applied. These are spending on insurance for inventories, owning other stock rooms, and holding items on consignment. The first two, yung hindi nag-insure ng inventories tsaka owning stockroom, I think it's for obvious reason that just like any other insurance, we think of it as an additional expense. So getting an insurance for inventories by the cooperatives will be an additional expense to the cooperative. So bababa ang profits, kaya wala. Pero according to what I have read in the related literature review, it is good that if you are a very large cooperative, you should at least secure your inventories against fire or flood or whatever calamities that are that could happen. The non-acceptance of consignment inventories was much noticeable. Allowing for consignment inventories is a good management strategy since the obligation to sell it and the risk of losing a sale is not upon the cooperatives, but rather the business or establishment or person who consigned their items. Through interviews also, the cooperatives have experienced stock outs because of unforeseen demand. Allowing consignment would have solved this issue. No? So, kung consignment kasi, you accept a consignment inventory, hindi mo binibili eh. It's like you are selling on behalf of somebody else. But you make a sale, you get a commission, maybe a commission or a part of the selling price or the profit of the consignor. So, pero mamaya pa yung sa recommendations. But one of my recommendations is about this. Also, in agreement with the results of this study amongst Benguet cooperatives, one study created by Siem Siok in the year 2019, he stated that allowing consignment inventories reduces the costs due to additional inventory control and accounting, supply chain complexity, and potential loss or damage. I was not able to put it here in my PowerPoint presentation, but I guess you can access the thesis in Benguet State University Library, or you can ask for my advisor, Dr. Joseph Bognadon, of a copy so that you would really see my explanations about the results. Next, for the financial liquidity measured in terms of current ratio, the cooperatives are generally liquid. However, of the 12 that responded to my questionnaire, 4 cooperatives fell below the standard of 2:1. However, in a related study conducted by Ramos in 2008, amongst cooperatives in Tarlac, she accepted cooperatives with 1:1 ratio to be liquid. Yun yung naging standard niya. But based from what I have read, the best standard is 2:1. At least meron kang fallback should there be mismanagement of your working capital. Also, if you look into this, cooperatives in the 3 municipalities in Benguet we can conclude that they can meet their current obligations. Kasi mas marami silang current assets kaysa sa utang. So kung magbabayad man sila ng utang, merong maiiwan pa. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng 2:1. Kaya kung 1:1 ang current ratio mo, tapos naningil lahat ng pinagkakautangan ng cooperatives, what would remain? So at least the 2:1 measure, there is a buffer should or if ever sabay-sabay ngang mag-collect ang mga creditors. Next, for the financial solvency measured in terms of debt to equity ratio, cooperatives in La Trinidad, Bocod, and Tublay are solvent with 0.28:1 DTE ratio, which is below the standard of 0.50:1. However, there were 2 cooperatives that were not able to meet this criterion. Since there are no other standards for debt to equity ratio, we can say that these 2 cooperatives are not solvent, bearing with them a risk for bankruptcy. Especially si Co-op number 5 kasi mas marami siyang utang kaysa sa capital contribution ng kanyang members. And it is proven by the ratio 1.08:1. Kumbaga, nag-contribute ang members ng 1 million, pero may utang si cooperative na 1,080,000 pesos. And that is not a good indication of solvency. Sometimes investors would almost always look into the profitability of a prospect investment. The good news for you, all cooperatives are profitable, with all having a positive return on equity. Cornett, on his study in the year 2019, he stated that a positive return on equity means profitability. Goals would have also played an important role, but in this research, I did not look into that aspect. Kung ano ba yung target na profit sana nila. No? But maybe in future studies, we can have that one. Are cooperatives able to meet their target ROE? And if they are able to meet it, what were the reasons? If they were not able to meet it, ano kaya yun? So I think that would be interesting for further studies. So just like in this one, the studies that I have or related studies that I found in Cavite, in comparison with Benguet, 13% ang kanilang profitability. In Ifugao, it's a little bit higher than in Benguet at 16.95%. In Camarines Norte, 20.38%, whereas in Davao City, it's a range of 7% to 13%. If you look into Benguet, merong as low as 1.33% return on equity, but as high as 34.74%. So naglalaro within those range ang profitability ng cooperatives dito sa province natin. So in conclusion, lastly, the third SOP about the relationship of working capital management application to their financial performance and financial position. There is no significant direct or positive relationship between working capital management and financial position and the performance of cooperatives. However, precaution should be made on holding too much cash, having liberal credit policies, and holding too many inventories, since doing so would reduce profitability, as seen from the negative relationship between the management strategies and the return on equity. Ito. So mag-ingat na lang tayo about holding too much cash, about being very light in giving credit, and having so many inventories on record, because doing so would be a factor in reducing your profitability. So in conclusion, from cash management strategies, accounts receivable management strategies, and inventories management strategies, all of these are applied. So generally, cooperatives are liquid, solvent, and profitable. However, there were two cooperatives who are at risk of bankruptcy kasi mas mataas yung solvency ratio nila kaysa yung standard. Although this cannot be attributed to how they apply working capital management, since in this table, there is no significant relationship between the application of working capital management strategies and the financial position and performance of the firm. There might be other factors, but from the statistical analysis that was made, it cannot be directly attributed to how they apply their working capital management strategies. So with all of these findings, from my first statement of the problem until the third statement of the problem, cooperatives should consider allowing consignment of inventories to lessen the need for holding inventories in their books and to reduce experience of stockouts. And also, if you will be considering having consignment inventories, it would result to additional profits due to additional revenue from your consignee. From your consignor, from your consignor. Also, cooperatives in Benguet, they should also strictly apply the policies in collecting receivables, since as much as they apply 5 C's of credit, they have been liberal in doing so. Baka iniisip lang na chinecheck lahat yung 5Cs, pero so yung pagpapautang. You have to be more strict in really looking into those 5 aspects. Otherwise, baka magkaroon kayo ng risk in having so much doubtful accounts or bad debts. That's it for my presentation. I hope that you have at least have an idea on what is the status of cooperatives in Benguet, what are they doing, what are the effects of their strategies to their financial status. And hopefully you will also be able to apply what you think your cooperative is not applying. So then again, I would repeat, you can ask Sir Joseph of a copy on the strategies that are applied or should be applied so that in the future, all cooperatives in Benguet, in all the municipalities, would have high liquidity ratios or liquidity measurements. All cooperatives will become solvent and all cooperatives are profitable, or if not just profitable, they can all meet their goals. Thank you for listening and bye-bye.
Ayan, sige, salamat. Thank you very much, Sir Joe Pelchona. Dita nagmayat nga discussion tayo regarding working capital or technically ti kaslangan na discuss tayo kat dito financial management ti cooperative. Ayan, sige. So, unfortunately, haan nga makaumay dito yung studio ni Sir Pelchona, ta adagayam ijay balasiw taaw nga kuna tayo. Iso nga, but I believe si Sir Pelchona ay nanonood sa atin ng live. Kung may mga questions kayo, pwede niyong ilagay sa chat box natin at I think masasagutan niya through our chat box pa din. But anyhow, wala po masyadong questions. Basahin ko po yung message ni Ma'am Lina Agaldang kay Sir Pelchona. Sabi niya, "True, Sir Pelchona. Let us manage well our working capital. Take note that it is the money of the members." Yan po. So, sige, keep the questions coming lang po. And also, malapit na po yata tayong mag-lunch. So, sa ating mga viewers, alam ko naman na po pwede tayong kumain habang nanonood. So, okay lang po yan. May isa pa po kasi tayong presentation. This is a presentation by Ma'am Cheryl Laonyo. So, introduce ko lang po siya. So, si Ma'am Cheryl Laonyo is actually sa Benguet State University din po siya. She is the director of the Research and Extension Publication Office. Yun po yung Mountain Journal ng BSU. Ayan po. And she's also a BSU graduate. So let's welcome Ma'am Cheryl Laonyo for her presentation of the research titled Concern for the Community Among the Cooperatives in Cordillera Administrative Region, Philippines.
Okay, so good morning everyone. This is the title of our research. Medyo matagal na ito, but I think it's still relevant. So I agreed to Ma'am Rhea when she invited me to present this research in this forum. So I would like to thank the Trinidad Municipal Cooperative Council and the Pansigedan Advocacy Cooperative for inviting me here. So the motivation of our study is the 7th cooperative principle on concern for community. If you recall, dati nasa 6th cooperative principle lang yung concern for community, but at some point they made it as the 7th cooperative principle. So cooperatives are mandated to allot funds from their annual net surplus for projects that serve the community where they operate. But not much information is available on the status of the observance or the actual implementation of this cooperative principle among cooperatives in the CAR. And that is why we tried to do this study. We were interested also in knowing which areas of development work our cooperatives in the CAR are involved in. So specifically, we determined how much fund is being allocated or actually used by cooperatives for community development. We also determined how CDF or the Community Development Fund are being used and which specific areas of development work, and the views of the managers and the cooperative BOD chair on the concern for community. Also, finally, the constraints of cooperatives in implementing community development projects. So for the methodology, this is actually based on largely a mailed survey. We sent questionnaires to different cooperatives via snail mail, and we covered all the small, medium, and large CDA registered cooperatives. And only 25% participated in the survey, but we tried to see the profile in relation to the total, and similar naman siya, which means medyo representative naman yung sample na nakuha namin. We also used secondary data from the cooperative annual performance from CDA just to validate yung results from the 56, because by research ethics, we cannot use yung total na data ng cooperatives from CDA unless we ask permission from all the 219 cooperatives. So we also supplemented the survey data by doing key informant interviews. So in terms of the allocation to Community Development Fund, CAR cooperatives are highly compliant to the 3% of net surplus mandatory allocation for CDF. So if you see, even for large, medium, and small cooperatives, largely sa 3% yung kanilang allocation. It's very interesting that for small cooperatives, merong nag-allocate ng 5%, 7%, and 10%. So for the actual Community Development Fund and the actual spending in the 5 years na kinover ng aming study by category, you will see here that the mean number of community development projects implemented by large cooperatives ay 7, yung sa medium ay 4, and yung sa small ay 2. So overall, mga 4 projects or activities ang kinandak ng cooperatives, yung respondent cooperatives dito sa study na to. And the mean CDF as of December 2016 is sa large cooperatives, mga 700,000, and sa medium, 131,000, and sa small ay 63,000. All overall, around mga 200,000 per cooperative. But for the mean actual na spent ay mga 206,000 sa large, 14,000 sa medium, and 7,000 per year sa small. So on average, mga 50,000, sabihin na natin 50,000 per cooperative per year. So in terms of the estimated utilization rate of CDF by category, we'll see here na around a quarter ang rough estimate ng mean utilization rate ng CDF dun sa respondent cooperatives. And if we look at the distribution, makikita natin na 14% of the cooperatives ay halos walang ginagamit pa doon sa kanilang CDF, and 21% ay between 1% to 10% of the allotment lang ang ginagamit. 11% mga between 11% to 20% and 11% mga 21 to 30%. What these figures are saying ay in general medyo mababa yung utilization rate of the community development funds sa mga cooperatives sa CAR. Yung 90 to 100%, mga 4% lang of the total cooperatives. Yung talagang fully na nag-utilize ng Community Development Fund. And ang makikita nating isa pa dito is yung utilization rate ng large at medium ay hindi significantly different. Ibig sabihin, hindi mas generous ang mga large cooperatives in terms of utilizing their CDF. Parang ganun. So ano naman yung mga actual na community development projects implemented by the cooperative respondents? So largely malaki yung school-related na minor infrastructure or facilities. Mga 11% of the respondent cooperatives ay nag-engage sa ganito. 10% sa tree planting, medical assistance, donation to indigents or humanitarian assistance, scholarship programs or student financial aid, celebration or events, festivals, ganyan. Yung mga adivay, mga ganyan, may mga lumabas, and other activities ng mga community, municipal or provincial or barangay. Yung Brigada Eskwela, back to school donations. We also have livelihood trainings forums, mga 4%. Yung clean and green environmental programs, yung cleanup drives. There are also cooperatives that engage in feeding programs, and 3% are engaged in sports and sports-related programs. So ito yung usual na i-spendan ng cooperative sa kanilang community development fund. And what we noticed here is that most of the activities are by request. Kumbaga hindi siya yung sobrang proactive, kundi depende sa request ng mga beneficiaries or yung mga collaborating agencies. Now, in terms of yung beneficiaries naman of the community development projects, we will see here na syempre mostly dahil nga related sa school minor infra and facilities, so yung mga pupils, yung mga students, yung daycare or elementary, so mga 23%. And then of course yung sa barangay or the community, mga 18%. And malaki pa rin yung mga nabebenepisyohan ay ang mga cooperative members mismo. Cooperative members and cooperative members' children. So again, others are students in church, calamity victims, government employees, cooperative union, youth. So mas maunti yung percentages ng mga to. Ang top talaga na beneficiaries are the elementary and daycare schools, students, and then the other students, plus the barangay and community. So ang sinasabi lang natin dito is while ang community development is supposed to be for the community where the cooperative is operating in, malaki pa rin yung napupunta sa mga cooperative members and cooperative members' children. I asked yung sa CDA kung ano bang interpretation nila sa mga dapat beneficiaries ng cooperative development projects, and sabi naman nila kasama naman yung community ng members. Pero ang explicit na sinasabi nila is hindi dapat limited lang dun sa mga members or members' children yung effect or yung beneficiaries ng community development project ng cooperative. Kumbaga, meron din sana na yung talagang non-member na beneficiaries. In terms of cooperating agencies naman, mostly ay makikita natin line agencies. Ito yung mga DA, mga DTI, mga DAR, no? And other departments ng ating government. So sila yung top na cooperating agencies, including syempre yung barangay na local government unit and yung cooperative union, church, and private organizations. So makikita din natin, including DepEd also, and then yung Parent Teachers Association also, and then the universities plus other elementary. Meron din dito na yung mga cooperative development offices, including the Provincial Cooperative Council and Provincial LGUs. No? So meron nga dyan politician. It's not an agency pero isinagot nila. Okay, so in terms of self-assessment naman, perception lang ito ng managers and yung BOD chair on how sa kanilang tingin nila sinusuportahan yung community where they operate. And makikita natin dito na majority ng talagang nag-strongly disagree na statements ay yung statement in terms of incorporating interests of the communities in their business decisions. Also yung giving donations during calamities, disasters, and yung stimulation of livelihood opportunities. So yun yung mga top na talagang strongly, majority ay strongly agree sila. The rest agree and strongly agree naman sila, pero hindi, kumbaga, hindi masyadong sa Likert scale, hindi masyadong mataas. Okay? So, for example, yung part ng support sa cultural tourism activities, medyo a quarter ay somewhat agree lang, including also yung education programs ng financial supports education programs ng community. Parang somewhat agree yung a quarter of the respondent cooperatives. In terms of the relationship ng mga variables doon sa actual na CDF use, ang makikita natin dito is syempre the higher yung net surplus ng cooperative, the higher yung actual na CDF use. Also yung number of members, the higher the number of members, mas malaki yung actual na CDF use. Yung number of years of existence ng cooperative, hindi siya lumabas na related or correlated doon sa actual na paggamit ng Community Development Fund. Also, the allotment, positively correlated siya, pero a little less kumpara sa diretsong net surplus. So what we are saying here is na yung net surplus is really a determinant of the actual na Community Development Fund used. And also yung number of members, which can possibly affect then yung manpower and yung participation na variable sa pagkakandak ng community development projects. And in terms of the problems and constraints in engaging in community development projects, makikita natin dito na while marami yung na-mention, ang pinaka-top ay yung limited funds allotted for CDF. So especially with the small cooperatives, sa tingin nila ang onti pa ng kanilang CDF na accumulated para mag-conduct ng community development projects. Also, lack of participation, lack of manpower, lack of time, no? And yung dito, sabi, poor coordination with partner agencies. And if you look at yung sa baba, meron dyan yung lack of linkages. So, partly also are yung mga project-specific na constraints, no? Like may mga lack of few medical practitioners or yung seedlings are limited, mga ganyan. So, may mga ganon na angles ng difficulties, like meron silang plano pero may mga mahirap silang kunin, like lack of medicine, merong mga ganun na nagsabi. Meron din dyan yung projects planned are not feasible, parang ganyan. So, ito yung summary of the constraints. So in conclusion, the aggregate CDF of all reporting small, medium, and large cooperatives in the CAR, hindi ko na present yung data neto, but is roughly 34 million, 57% from large cooperatives, 35% from medium, and 8% from small cooperatives. So ito naman is nung time na as of 2016. So with the new law, no, meron tayong bagong directive, I think in 2019, lumabas yung mandatory na spending of CDF within a given period. So this one would have changed already. So findings indicate high compliance in terms of allocating 3% of annual net surplus for CDF. But the actual utilization rate is roughly estimated only at around 24%. So mas malaki yung absolute na spending ng large cooperatives, but in terms of percent utilization rate, similar lang siya sa mga medium cooperatives. Significantly different lang siya sa small cooperatives. Also, most commonly implemented development projects ay yung sabi ko nga, yung minor school-related infrastructure and facility provision, yung tree planting, yung medical assistance, including field health sponsorship, yung scholarship programs or student financial aid, and yung donations to community and school celebrations, events, and activities. So in terms of the self-assessment of managers, mataas naman yung kanilang implementation ng community development, perceived implementation of community development projects. The actual CDF usage, sabi ko nga, is highly associated with yung sa net surplus and the number of cooperative members, but not necessarily na associated sa number of years of existence. So hindi ibig sabihin na mas matagal yung cooperative ay mas malaki naman yung kanilang spending sa community development fund. Pero yung mga mas mataas ang surplus, yun talaga yung mas mataas yung kanilang spending. So perceived challenges, yung limited CDF, yung lack of manpower, time, and participation among members, and then yung poor coordination with partner agencies, or hindi naman siguro poor coordination, but yung lack of linkages with partner agencies, and the lack of plan or limited knowledge on planning for proactive na use or intentional use of the community development fund. So ang implications, the CAR cooperative profile implies high potential of cooperatives in terms of yung community development project implementation sana. Makaka-contribute talaga sila dahil medyo malaki naman in terms of sa total. Cooperatives may consider more proactive planning for the intentional use of their CDF. So parang ang nakita natin kasi dito sa study is mostly kung ano yung nire-request ng beneficiaries, yun yung ina-address nila, which is tama naman. But in terms of impact, maganda rin sana kasi na meron talagang planned use of the community development fund. CDA and provincial and municipal cooperative councils can maximize the use of the social audit reports for program planning and policy making. Meron kasing mandatory report na sinasubmit ang mga cooperatives in terms of yung social audit. Dito na ilalagay yung mga ginagawa nila in terms of community development projects. So magandang tinitingnan din ito ng CDA and yung mga councils para nakikita nila kung anong possible areas pa yung pwedeng pag-work, that they can work on, or na kung saan madami nang nagagawa at na hindi na dapat doon gumawa. Parang gano'n. CDA may consider closer monitoring and evaluation of the actual CDF used by cooperatives. This one, I think they are now doing because of the additional policy na which was promulgated noong 2019. Since higher net surplus means higher CDF allocation and higher CDF usage, so talagang need talaga i-sustain and enhance yung support to micro and small cooperatives so that mag-increase din yung net surplus and syempre mag-increase din yung community development fund. And finally, yung increased convergence initiatives for community development planning and implementation. So maraming agencies ang gumagawa ng development work, and I think there is already convergence, and I think most of the cooperative federations ay isinasama na dun sa planning. Although in some municipalities and in some barangays, hindi pa siguro ganun ka-strong. So yun yung maganda na laging i-involve ng mga LGUs or even private yung cooperatives and cooperative federations, which is I think ginagawa naman na mas isusustain lang siguro. Ayan. Yeah, so thank you very much for listening. So for any questions, you can actually ask here or you can email silaunyo@psu.edu.ph. And if you want a copy of the policy brief na from this study, yung ito, you can also just email us. So thank you very much.
Ayan, sige. So, salamat Ma'am Cheryl. Iti nagmayat nga presentation mo regarding our CDF or the Community Development Fund ti cooperatives. Ayan.
Yun. Hopefully, ado tinaadal tayo di talo nga presentations niya starting from the organizational needs assessment of agri-based cooperatives in La Trinidad Benguet by Dr. David Joseph Bugnadon, and the second presentation on the working capital management of cooperatives in selected municipalities in Benguet by Sir Joe Pelchona, and the last presenter a while ago ni Ma'am Cheryl Launyo, the concern for the community among the cooperatives in Cordillera Administrative Region, Philippines. Ano tina-observe mo dito yung presentations da?
Anda, sir. Sige, baka masika sir team ang ibagay dyan observation tayo regarding
the observation, nagtugtuhan mi gamintad tayo.
Well.
And then we noticed naman yung arrangement ng presentation na we started from the municipality of La Trinidad, yung first presentation, and then followed by sa Benguet naman yung scope niya, and then sa Cordillera with the last speaker. So, dakkel nga iyaman iti local government unit of La Trinidad, dagit talong presenters tayo tada. Kasi nagmayat the information niya, kasla nga first time tayo nga nakatalo tayo iti research presentations iti may isang activity as compared before nga dati may sa dati dua. But now we at least collected 3 best researches on cooperatives para kanya yung cooperatives iti La Trinidad. Not only La Trinidad kasi adumot lang tayo agbuy-buya in the Cordillera region. Thank you so much. Tapos, i-remind ko lang jay attendance sheet. No, dapat kumpleto tayo jay attendance sheet jay with your name, the name of the cooperative, and your contact number. No, ada po iti blanco iti nga talo nga information kathangkay nga counted iti first 100 people to be given a cooperative t-shirt. Yan, dito eh. So, ayun. And then, reminder mat lang pasensya since we are here in La Trinidad, prioritize mi pa ikat jay cooperatives operating in La Trinidad. Yeah. No, dati extra siguro or no masubraan, then we will give a t-shirt to our friends from neighboring municipalities in the city of Baguio.
Ayan, sige sir. Akas makita mi kat kwa, awan matkiti unay ti questions da regarding dito research ni Ma'am Cheryl. Ayan. So, although adati nag-comment nga, congratulations for the very good research. And then, do you plan to update this research as a question? Kati sungbat ni Ma'am Cheryl, yes ma'am, to compare if the mandatory use of CDF within a certain period ay may effect sa utilization rate, although suspended yata sa ngayon pandemic implementation.
Yes. Kasi may mga restrictions tayo sa face-to-face encounter with our cooperatives. Yung ibang co-ops kasi medyo ayaw nila ng mga crowding or mga drawing events.
Mas gathering.
Yung mga gatherings. So, pero pwede siguro, Ma'am Cheryl, sa online, pag magbibigay tayo ng tawag nun, yung mga questionnaire natin.
Ay, pwede.
Pwedeng we can administer online and we can help. Pag dito naman sa local government unit ng La Trinidad, we can help naman sa administration ng inyong mga questionnaire. Para naman makarami tayo sa researches on the use of the Community Development Fund. Ayan. Alam siguro yan ni General Manager, lalong-lalo na't nag-start sila ng kanilang cooperative.
Yes.
Di ba?
Oo. At i-make sure natin matignan yan.
Oo nga. Tapos siguro before we will go sa mga conclusions natin, i-promote mo muna ulit yung mga services ng Pansigedan Advocacy Cooperative.
Sige. The more siguro ang pinaka-importante siguro at tingin namin ay kailangan natin ngayon because we're still in the pandemic time ay yung ating mental health and well-being. So dito po sa Abating Building, sa first floor po niya, meron po tayong mental health clinic. So we have the DIWA clinic. So meron po tayong mga psychologists dito, and also we have psychometricians. Ang psychometricians po natin ay sila yung sa neurotesting. So kung kailangan yung magpa-neurotest ay available din po kami dito. Ayan po.
Yeah. And then siguro we will have first the announcements in our closing messages before the final closing remarks of our honorable Councilor Francis Lee. Yan. Ni Councilor Francis Lee isuna po iti chairperson iti Committee on Cooperatives, POs and non-government organizations. Iyon. So anya una akon nga ag ited ti announcement ijay La Trinidad tadta ijay Municipal Park adda iti Coffee Week. So today is their last day game until bigat kuma Saturday closing da no bigat, but today is their last day adapay lang iti coffee no kayat yu iti different coffee of single origin karkaro iti La Trinidad. You can visit our municipal park nga sango iti munisipyo ay kayo ag kapidja ay kayo ag merienda. Sorry yan ang lamig sa loob ng studio. All right. And then next week din, meron tayong still sa may harap ng munisipyo may micro, small and medium enterprises display of products. Matlang ije. So may iso dati may isukat ije coffee pavilion and coffee display. Although meron din tayong mga coffee by next week, but more on local products tayo, mga food and non-food, arts and crafts products on display and on sale sa harap po ng munisipyo the whole week next week. That is December 13 to 18 yan. Ata, yan. Basta the whole week from Monday to Saturday po. So please bring your friends, your family, kayo bisitahan dyan, display tayo iti local products. This is courtesy of the Mayor's Office kasi inapruba na piman iti Claymore iti micro, small and medium enterprises to conduct at least trade fair karkarotad nga Christmas season. So, while agpaspasyar kayo dyan municipal park, at gumatang kayo iti local products tayo. Okay? Yan ang announcement ko pa. Anya nga ni ma'am. Anya ka di ko, adal dyan voters education. Iti Pansigedan. Baka ag-update kayo dyan ma'am.
Sige, i-update ko. Kasi may samot lang ko mga advokasya ti PAC, dahiti Pansigedan kat dahiti voters education. So, adangay ti website tayo. Mabalin yung i-check di ay VAP pansigedan.com. vappansigedan.org isungay jay ko pag kabilan tayo ti articles mi nga naisurat. So no kayat yung basa panggap iti voters education mabalin nga mapangkay jay website mi kan at the same time every Saturday matlang from 4 p.m. kat mabalin kayo nga agbuya dito yung Facebook live mi matlang iti lectures panggap iti voters education. Ayan. Sige,
Very important dyan in timely voters education da. No kailan iti services like interesado ti BSU and community multipurpose cooperative nga i-video shoot da dagi best practices iti cooperative and madag success stories iti cooperative mabalin yung i-contact mo lang iti Pansigedan Advocacy Cooperative. Kat siguro closing akpay before ni Ma'am Rayan Ayan, kahit ko lang thank you kadagi jay viewers tata karkaro jay nang i-workout mat lang dito siyang partner tayo ti Pansigedan Advocacy Cooperative kani Ma'am Betty Listino, the chairperson of this cooperative. Dagi jay staff tayo mat lang jay Municipal Cooperative in Development Services Office and of course from the Mayor's Office ni Ma'am Mayan Salda. Thank you so much for allowing us to conduct this kind of activity and of course to our Municipal Mayor Honorable Romeo K. Salda and the support of the Sangguniang Bayan. Nakita yung mat-ada-adat message ni Vice Mayor and we will hear the closing message of Honorable Councilor Francis Lee later on. Kat salamat and I hope to see you again with our activities next year kasi ito ata yung last activity natin for the cooperative sector. Although we've been conducting a lot of activities karkaro idi cooperative month of October and hopefully by next year we will be having our Gawad Parangal, the fourth Gawad Parangal for La Trinidad. At ano pa bang mga announcement natin? Yung t-shirt po natin, you can claim it by next week na kasi meron na yung t-shirt sa office. So if you think you are a part of the first 100 attendees, although we will be texting naman yung mga na-qualify dun sa first 100, you can claim your t-shirt by Monday next week po. So hopefully wala akong nakalimutan na announcement. Yan, magpabakuna po tayo. Yan, vaccination para ongoing ang vaccination. You can still contact our Mayor's Office La Trinidad Facebook page or go directly with the office of our Municipal Health Office for the schedules. No, dati no kayat yung may schedule iti vaccination or no maamuan nyo no kaano man yung next nga vaccination tayo. Ayan, okay na ako doon.
Sige po, salamat Sir Orly. And before nga ang pasalamat nakti amin, ibagak ko muna dayti ko. We have a online gender-based violence live gayam no bigat. Dayti nga jay kun kuna tayo nga Pansigedan Hour. Ti oras na dayto kat 1 o'clock PM inga na 2 o'clock PM. So may sanga oras diay nga kasla nga tungtungan tayo regarding no anya ba ti gender-based violence. So dayta no bigat. Every Saturday gamin kat adati live me dito nga Facebook mo't lang. Tapos daytoy afternoon na nga alas 4 daytoy jay voters education nga live me nga i-launch me no bigat. Ayan. Sige, so salamat po kan pasalamat akmat lang kinda Sir Orly ta mayat nga intap na da kami dito Pansigedan for us also to be able to help kan maipaamamumi ta da kami nga Pansigedan ti other cooperatives ta mayat mo't siguro nga agtitinulong tayong mutlang kasi da kami mutlang dito co-op kat agrogrugi kami mutlang iso nga agtitinulong tayo dito
Baka no makita yung services da nagmayat especially in research on information technology yan napahabol ni Ma'am Cheryl third speaker tayo tatay ko na reply na kani Ma'am Felicinon. Hello Ma'am Felicinon. Yes sir, Ma'am siya yan. Ako atang i-replyan ni Ma'am Cheryl. Ayan sabi na, yes sir, thank you. Siguro sir, we give time muna for the new CMO policy or mga circulars, memorandum orders, before natin uli evaluate its impact. Tama po. Thank you, sir. Magpapatulong kami talaga next time at collaborate tayo. Yan. Why not? Kasi ang isa ring service kasi ng office talaga is research. Pero due to a lack of staff, yan, mailan lang kami sa office. Medyo hindi natin, ang first lang na kinandak natin in partnership pa nga na kay, yung kay Sir Bugnadon kanina, yung first na presentation. So, nakikolaborate tayo sa BSC for the conduct of the research activity. Ayan. Thank you, sir. Ayan. Hello, Ma'am Irene Kuligman. Yung parang shout-out vlog na. Ma'am Irene Kuligman ng Universal Multipurpose Cooperative.
Ayan po. Sige po. Ay, kung nalipatak gaya mo inbaga. Ni Ma'am Cheryl Laonyo, she is also a part of Pansigedan Advocacy Cooperative.
Okay.
Isuna, ijay ayan ti research part mo't lang ti
Tamang-tama.
Pansigedan. So nga mayat day tanong ko aga collaborate tayo amin.
Yan. Ano san tayo lang ta ada ti minimal fee. Amok nga aming makidi nga cooperatives kat ada iti nakaset aside for this kind of activities or services. Karkaro iti education and training fund, your community development fund. Iso ti papananan ta kaduan nga cooperatives more earning iti kwartada more earning ti kwartada. Handa nga mo no awan ti project da or awan iti activity han nga magastos kasi di lang ti papananan ding kwarta talaga mandatory allotment for certain services and programs. Yun, in matidog ti istoryan mi kani Ma'am Rhea. Anyway, thank you so much for the support that you've been giving to the cooperative office of the Municipality of La Trinidad. And thank you, Pansigedan Advocacy Cooperative.
Ayan. And thank you din sa ating La Trinidad Cooperative Officer na Sister Orly and the team. Ayan.
Okay na tayo dun sa So, let's proceed with the closing remarks of Honorable Councilor Francis Lee. Ayan. Thank you.
To Director Manita Huang, our Regional Director, CDE CAR, Attorney Frank Bawang, our former CDE CAR Regional Director, Sir Tavius Bernardo Sr., our Municipal Cooperative Development Council Chairperson, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, pleasant morning to one and all. Although done virtually, it was indeed a pleasure to have been part of this year's La Trinidad Cooperative Congress. At this point, as chairperson of the Committee on Cooperatives, I wish to thank and commend its organizers and participants for the successful event. You truly embody the core values of willpower and resourcefulness. Although the pandemic has virtually overturned every aspect of our lives, we are still here to keep the spirit of cooperativism alive and burning. The cooperative values of unity and social responsibility, which has been tested during the pandemic, has restored my hope and optimism as it has proven that our co-ops are resilient. Resilience being one of the important strengths of co-op movement. To this day, our co-ops continue to rise above the day-to-day challenges. Still, more than the economic benefits of membership in a cooperative is the opportunity to be involved in activities that help fellow community members. Despite the pandemic, or even because of it, the passion of the cooperative to be of service to the people in our respective communities is overwhelming. Indeed, reports from multi-purpose cooperatives have shown that our cooperatives are going the extra mile to serve their members and communities. Most responded by answering the basic needs of their members, medical frontliners, and the most vulnerable groups in their communities through various ways. These include medical kits, masks and PPS, food packs, ready-to-eat meals, sacks of rice, disinfectants, and sprayers, and others. Moreover, the cooperative has also assisted in information dissemination and in enforcing guidelines on curfew and other protocols. Donations of food, cash, patronage refund, and payment of interest in share capital as well as community partnership with government continue to demonstrate this cooperative spirit. Amid the pandemic, it is interesting to note that our cooperatives are making a significant economic difference
in the lives of the large majority of its members and are contributing to their general well-being. Given our Co-op's proven resilience, we are confident that you will continue to endure and prevail in the years to come. Thank you and good day.